Mouse leads a group of kids to a hidden treasure, and what they find is unbelievable. In a bustling city where dreams often felt out of reach, a young girl named Lila discovered an unexpected friend in the most unlikely of places. Lila was a 10-year-old girl with wild curls that danced in the wind and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. She lived in a small apartment with her grandmother, who had raised her since her parents had passed away in a car accident. Lila often felt like a ghost in her own life, drifting through the crowded streets of the city, longing for adventure and connection. One rainy afternoon, while waiting for her grandmother to finish a long shift at the diner, Lila wandered into a nearby park. It was a small oasis amidst the concrete jungle, filled with towering trees and vibrant flowers that seemed to bloom in defiance of the gray sky. As she meandered along the damp paths, she noticed something unusual: a small, scruffy mouse peeking out from behind a bush. Its fur was a patchy mix of brown and gray, and its tiny nose twitched curiously. "Hey there, little guy," Lila whispered, crouching down to get a better look. The mouse, surprisingly unafraid, scampered closer, its beady eyes glinting with mischief. Lila felt an instant connection to the little creature. It reminded her of her own struggles, small and often overlooked, yet full of potential. Lila named the mouse Pip, and from that moment, an extraordinary friendship blossomed. Pip was not just any ordinary mouse. He possessed an adventurous spirit and a knack for finding hidden treasures. Lila would often find herself laughing at his antics, as he would scurry around, exploring every nook and cranny of the park. One day, while playing near the park's edge, Pip led Lila to a forgotten path that wound deeper into the woods bordering the park. The trees loomed tall and ancient, their branches entwined like the fingers of old friends. Lila hesitated, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and fear. "What if we get lost?" she whispered, glancing at Pip, who seemed to be urging her forward with his tiny paws. But something deep inside her stirred, a longing for adventure, a desire to break free from her mundane life. With a deep breath, Lila took a step onto the path, Pip darting ahead, his little tail flicking with enthusiasm. "Let's go, Pip," she called, her voice filled with determination. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the air became thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a dappled pattern on the ground. Lila felt a sense of wonder wash over her, as if she had stepped into a different world. But as they walked, a sudden rustling in the bushes made her freeze. "What was that?" she whispered, her heart pounding. Pip paused, his ears perked up, and for a moment, they both stood still, listening. Then, without warning, a large shadow loomed over them. A bear, towering and majestic, emerged from the underbrush, its dark fur glistening in the sunlight. Lila's breath caught in her throat, fear gripping her heart. But to her surprise, Pip didn't run away. Instead, he stood his ground, his tiny body puffed up with bravery. "Pip, what are you doing?" Lila gasped, her voice trembling. The bear sniffed the air, its gaze locking onto Pip, who seemed unfazed. In that moment, Lila realized that their adventure had taken a turn. The bear wasn't just a threat. It was part of the extraordinary world they had stumbled into. She felt a surge of courage as she watched Pip, who had become her unlikely hero. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, forging a bond that would change their lives forever. As they ventured further into the woods, Lila felt a strange pull, as if the forest itself were guiding them towards something incredible. Little did they know, this journey would lead them to a hidden treasure beyond their wildest dreams, a treasure that would test their bravery, strengthen their friendship, and reveal the extraordinary connections between humans and animals. Lila and Pip continued deeper into the woods, the towering trees creating a canopy that filtered the sunlight into soft, golden beams. The air was filled with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. A symphony of nature that made Lila feel alive. With each step, her initial fear began to fade, replaced by a sense of adventure that ignited her spirit. "Where are we going, Pip?" Lila asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The little mouse paused, looking back at her with his bright eyes, as if he understood her question. He twitched his nose and scurried ahead, leading her down a narrow path that twisted and turned like a winding river. After what felt like hours of walking, they stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood an ancient oak tree, its gnarled roots sprawling across the ground like the fingers of a giant. Lila felt drawn to it, as if it held secrets waiting to be uncovered. She approached the tree, running her fingers over its rough bark, feeling the energy pulsing beneath her touch. "Wow! Look at this place!" Lila exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. Pip climbed up onto her shoulder, peering around as if he were the guardian of this magical realm. Just then, Lila noticed something glinting among the roots of the oak. She knelt down, brushing away the leaves and dirt, revealing a small, ornate box. "What do you think it is?" she asked Pip, her heart racing with excitement. The mouse squeaked in response, his tiny paws tapping against her shoulder as if urging her to open it. With trembling hands, Lila lifted the box and carefully opened the lid. Inside, she found a collection of shimmering stones, each one radiating a different color: emerald green, sapphire blue, ruby red, and amethyst purple. "They're beautiful," Lila gasped, her eyes sparkling with delight. But as she reached for the stones, a sudden chill swept through the clearing. The air grew heavy, and Lila felt a sense of unease wash over her. "Pip, do you feel that?" she asked, glancing around nervously. Before Pip could respond, a low growl echoed through the trees, sending shivers down Lila's spine. She turned to see the bear from earlier, now standing at the edge of the clearing, its dark eyes fixed on the box. Panic surged through her. "What do we do?" she whispered, her heart racing. Pip, however, seemed unfazed. He hopped down from Lila's shoulder and stood defiantly in front of the bear, his tiny body trembling but resolute. "Pip, no!" Lila cried, but the mouse was determined. He squeaked loudly, challenging the bear, who paused, seemingly taken aback by the mouse's bravery. "Stay back!" Lila shouted, her voice stronger than she felt. The bear hesitated, its growl fading into a low rumble as it regarded the two of them. Lila's heart raced as she realized that Pip was trying to protect her, and in that moment, she felt a surge of courage. "We can't let it take the treasure," she declared, stepping forward. The bear, sensing the determination in Lila's voice, took a cautious step back. It seemed to recognize that this girl and her tiny companion were not to be underestimated. Lila's heart pounded in her chest as she stood her ground, Pip by her side, ready to face whatever came next. "Let's get out of here." "Pip," Lila said, her voice steadying as she grabbed the box and turned to flee. They dashed back down the path, the sound of the bear's heavy footsteps echoing behind them. Lila's mind raced with thoughts of what they had just discovered and the danger they had narrowly escaped. As they ran, Lila felt a mix of exhilaration and fear. The treasure they had found was unlike anything she had ever seen, but it also seemed to attract danger. "What do you think those stones are for?" she asked Pip, who was now perched on her shoulder, his tiny heart racing in sync with hers. "I don't know, but we need to find out," Lila replied, determination flooding her veins. "We can't let the bear, or anyone, take them from us." They emerged from the woods, breathless and wide-eyed, back into the familiar surroundings of the park. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the city. But Lila felt a sense of urgency. "Let's go home and figure this out," she said, glancing at Pip, who nodded as if he understood the gravity of their situation. They hurried back to their apartment, Lila's mind racing with possibilities. What if the stones held magical powers? What if they were part of a larger mystery waiting to be uncovered? Once inside, Lila placed the box on her small desk, her heart still pounding from the thrill of their adventure. She could hardly contain her excitement as she opened the lid again, the stones glimmering in the soft light of her room. "Look at them, Pip. They're incredible," she exclaimed, her eyes shining with wonder. But as she reached for the emerald stone, a sudden thought struck her. What if the bear comes looking for us? What if it wants the treasure back? Lila's excitement dimmed, replaced by a wave of anxiety. She had never faced anything like this before, and the weight of the unknown pressed heavily on her shoulders. Pip, sensing her fear, scurried up to her shoulder and nuzzled her cheek. "You're right, Pip. We need a plan," Lila said, taking a deep breath. "We can't let fear stop us. We have to be brave, just like you." She felt a renewed sense of determination as she began to brainstorm ideas, her mind racing with possibilities. "Maybe we can find out more about these stones," she suggested, her voice growing stronger. "There has to be a reason they were hidden in the woods. And if we can figure it out, we might be able to protect them from the bear, or anyone else who might want them." With Pip by her side, Lila felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would uncover the secrets of the treasure and discover the true meaning of bravery and friendship. The following day dawned bright and clear, the sun casting a warm glow over the city. Lila awoke with a sense of purpose, her heart racing with anticipation. She had spent the night researching the stones, poring over books and articles about gemstones and their meanings. Each stone seemed to hold a unique power, and Lila felt a growing connection to them. The emerald represented growth and renewal, the sapphire symbolized wisdom and protection, the ruby stood for courage and passion, and the amethyst was known for its calming energy. "Pip, we need to find out if these stones are truly special," Lila said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Maybe they can help us protect ourselves from the bear." Pip squeaked in agreement, his tiny paws tapping against her shoulder as if urging her to take action. After breakfast, Lila decided to visit the local library, a place she loved for its quiet corners and endless shelves of books. She packed the box carefully, ensuring the stones were secure, and set off with Pip nestled safely in her backpack. The library was a sanctuary for Lila, a place where she could escape the noise of the city and immerse herself in stories of adventure and magic. Once inside, Lila made her way to the reference section, where she hoped to find more information about the stones. She spent hours poring over books, her excitement growing with each page she turned. Just as she was about to give up, she stumbled upon an old, dusty tome titled Legends of the Forest, Treasures and Myths. Her heart raced as she opened it, the pages yellowed with age. "Listen to this, Pip," she whispered, reading aloud. "According to legend, a hidden treasure lies within the enchanted forest, guarded by a great bear. The treasure consists of 4 magical stones, each granting the bearer a unique power. But beware, for the bear will protect its treasure fiercely." Lila's breath caught in her throat. "This is it, Pip. We found the treasure." She felt a surge of triumph, but it was quickly overshadowed by a sense of dread. "But if the bear is guarding it, we need to be careful. It won't let us keep the stones without a fight." As she continued reading, Lila discovered that the stones could only be used for good. "They can help those in need, but they also attract danger," she murmured, her mind racing. We have to be responsible with them, Pip. We can't let them fall into the wrong hands. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the library, causing Lila to jump. She turned to see a group of older kids, known for their troublemaking antics, barging in. They were laughing and shoving each other, their voices echoing off the walls. Lila felt a knot of anxiety tighten in her stomach. She recognized them as the same kids who had bullied her in the past. "Look at that loser," one of them sneered, pointing at Lila. "What are you doing here all alone?" Lila's cheeks flushed with embarrassment, and she instinctively clutched the box tighter. "Leave her alone," Pip squeaked, surprising Lila with his sudden bravery. The kids turned their attention to the tiny mouse, their laughter growing louder. "Did that mouse just talk?" one of them exclaimed, stepping closer. "What a freak show! Get away from her!" Lila shouted, her voice trembling but filled with determination. She felt a surge of courage as she stood up for herself and Pip. "You don't scare me." The leader of the group, a boy named Jake, smirked. "What are you going to do about it?" "Little girl, you think that mouse can protect you?" He reached out to grab Pip, but Lila stepped in front of him, her heart racing. "Don't you dare touch him," she yelled, her voice echoing in the library. The other kids paused, surprised by her sudden fierceness. Lila felt a rush of adrenaline as she realized she was standing up for herself and her friend. Just then, the ground beneath them trembled slightly, and a low growl resonated from outside the library. The kids exchanged nervous glances, and Lila's heart raced. "What was that?" one of them whispered, fear creeping into their voices. "It's the bear!" Lila exclaimed, her eyes wide with realization. It must have sensed the stones. The kids looked at each other, their bravado fading as the growl grew louder, echoing through the library. "Let's get out of here!" Jake shouted, and the group turned to flee, their laughter replaced by panic. Lila watched as they rushed out, her heart pounding in her chest. She turned to Pip, who was perched on her shoulder, his tiny body trembling. "We need to go, too," Lila said, grabbing the box and sprinting toward the exit. As they burst out of the library, the sunlight hit them like a wave, and Lila felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. The bear was close, and they had to find a way to protect the stones. They raced back to the park, Lila's mind racing with thoughts of the bear. What if it's angry? What if it wants the stones back? She panted, glancing at Pip, who was clinging tightly to her shoulder. As they reached the edge of the woods, Lila spotted the bear standing at the entrance, its massive form silhouetted against the trees. It looked majestic and powerful, but Lila felt a surge of fear. "What do we do, Pip?" she whispered, her heart pounding. Pip squeaked, his tiny voice filled with determination. "We have to show it we mean no harm. We can't let it take the stones without a fight." Lila nodded, her resolve strengthening. "You're right. We have to be brave." She took a deep breath and stepped forward, holding the box tightly in her hands. "We found these stones in the forest, and we want to protect them," she called out, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. The bear's dark eyes locked onto Lila, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. Lila felt a connection with the creature, a shared understanding that transcended fear. "We don't want to take anything from you," she continued, her voice growing stronger. "We just want to learn about them and use them for good." The bear tilted its head, as if considering her words. Lila's heart raced as she took another step closer, Pip still perched on her shoulder. "Please, let us show you that we can be trusted," she pleaded, her voice filled with sincerity. In that moment, the bear let out a low rumble, and Lila felt a wave of energy wash over her. It was as if the forest itself was responding to her plea. The bear took a cautious step forward, its massive form looming over her. But Lila stood her ground, her heart pounding with both fear and hope. "Together, we can protect the forest and its treasures," she said, her voice steady. "We can be friends." The bear paused, its eyes softening as it regarded Lila and Pip. Slowly, it lowered its massive head, and Lila felt a rush of relief. "Thank you," she whispered, tears of gratitude welling in her eyes. "We'll do our best to honor the treasure and protect it." As the bear stepped back, Lila felt a sense of triumph wash over her. They had faced their fears together, and in that moment, she realized the true power of bravery and friendship. With Pip by her side, she knew they could overcome any challenge that lay ahead. The tension in the air began to dissipate as Lila stood before the bear. Her heart still racing but now filled with a sense of hope. The bear, having acknowledged her bravery, turned its massive body and began to walk deeper into the woods, glancing back at Lila and Pip as if inviting them to follow. "Come on, Pip. Let's see where it's going," Lila exclaimed, her excitement bubbling over. She felt a surge of adrenaline as she followed the bear, her earlier fears melting away. Pip squeaked in agreement, his tiny paws gripping her shoulder tightly. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Lila marveled at the beauty surrounding them. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a warm glow on the forest floor. And the air was filled with the sweet scent of wildflowers. The bear led them to a hidden glade, a magical place that seemed untouched by time. In the center stood a shimmering pool, its surface reflecting the vibrant colors of the stones in Lila's box. "This is incredible," Lila gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. The bear settled down beside the pool, its massive form relaxed and calm. Lila approached the water's edge, the stones in her box glowing softly in response to the serene atmosphere. "What do you think this place is, Pip?" she asked, kneeling beside the pool. The little mouse hopped down and scurried to the water's edge, peering into the depths. "It feels special, doesn't it?" Pip squeaked, nodding as he looked up at Lila. "I think it's a place of magic, a sanctuary for the treasures of the forest." Lila felt a sense of belonging wash over her. This was more than just a hidden treasure. It was a connection to the world around her, a reminder of the extraordinary bonds between humans and animals. She carefully opened the box, revealing the stones, their colors shimmering in the sunlight. As she held the emerald in her hand, she felt a rush of energy. "This one is for growth," she said, her voice filled with awe. "Maybe it can help us protect the forest." She placed the emerald into the water, and to her amazement, the surface rippled with vibrant green light, illuminating the glade. Next, she picked up the sapphire. "This one is for wisdom," she said, her heart racing. "Let's see what it can do." She dropped the sapphire into the pool, and the water glowed a deep blue, casting a calming aura around them. Lila continued with the ruby and amethyst, each stone creating a unique light that danced across the glade. With each stone, she felt a deeper connection to the forest and its magic. The bear watched silently, its eyes reflecting a sense of approval. "Pip, I think we're meant to protect this place," Lila said, her voice filled with determination. "These stones are not just treasures, they're a part of something much bigger." She felt a sense of responsibility wash over her, a calling to safeguard the magic of the forest. Suddenly, a rustling sound broke the tranquility of the glade. Lila turned to see a group of animals emerging from the trees, deer, rabbits, and even a few birds. They gathered around the pool, their eyes filled with curiosity and wonder. Lila realized that the forest was alive with creatures who sensed the magic of the stones. "Look, Pip, they're here to see what we've done," Lila exclaimed, her heart swelling with joy. The animals approached cautiously, drawn to the shimmering light of the pool. Lila felt a sense of unity among them. a shared understanding that they were all part of this magical world. As the animals gathered, Lila felt a wave of inspiration. "We can work together to protect this forest," she said, her voice ringing with conviction. "With the help of the stones and all of you, we can ensure that this place remains safe and magical." The bear nodded, its eyes shining with approval. Lila felt a deep bond forming between them, a connection that transcended words. She knew that together, they could face any challenges that lay ahead. In the days that followed, Lila returned to the glade with Pip and the animals. Working together to protect the forest, they organized cleanup efforts, removing litter and debris that had found its way into their sanctuary. Lila shared the story of the stones with her friends, encouraging them to join in the efforts to preserve the beauty of the woods. Word spread throughout the community about the magical glade and the treasures hidden within. Children from the neighborhood began to visit, drawn by the stories of Lila and Pip's adventures. They learned to respect nature and appreciate the wonders of the forest, forming a bond with the animals that lived there. Lila felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched her friends connect with the magic of the woods. The once lonely girl had found her place, surrounded by friends and the extraordinary creatures of the forest. Pip remained by her side, his tiny heart filled with pride as they worked together to protect their newfound home. But as the days turned into weeks, Lila couldn't shake the feeling that the bear was still watching over them. A guardian of the forest. She often caught glimpses of it in the distance, its dark form blending seamlessly with the trees. Lila felt a sense of gratitude for the bear's presence, knowing that it had played a crucial role in their journey. One afternoon, as Lila and Pip were cleaning up the glade, they noticed a group of older kids approaching. It was the same group that had bullied Lila in the library. Her heart raced with anxiety, but she stood her ground, Pip perched on her shoulder. "Hey, loser, what are you doing out here?" Jake called out, his voice dripping with mockery. Lila felt a surge of fear, but she remembered the strength she had found in the forest. "We're protecting this place," Lila replied, her voice steady. "You should leave before you disturb the magic here." The kids laughed, but Lila noticed a flicker of uncertainty in their eyes. "What magic? There's nothing special about this dump," Jake sneered, stepping closer. Just then, the bear emerged from the trees, its massive form casting a shadow over the group. The laughter faded, replaced by stunned silence. Lila felt a rush of relief as the bear stood protectively beside her, its eyes fixed on the intruders. "Leave now, and don't come back," Lila said, her voice strong. The bear growled softly, a low rumble that echoed through the glade. The older kids exchanged nervous glances, and Lila could see the fear in their eyes. Okay, we're going," Jake stammered, backing away slowly. The group turned and fled, their bravado shattered by the bear's presence. Lila felt a wave of triumph wash over her. "We did it, Pip," she exclaimed, her heart soaring. "We stood up for our home." As the bear settled back into the trees, Lila realized that they had not only protected the forest but had also shown the older kids the power of courage and friendship. She felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished together. With Pip by her side, Lila knew that they could face any challenge that came their way. The bond they had formed with the forest and its creatures was unbreakable, and she felt a deep sense of purpose in her heart. As the sun began to set over the enchanted forest, casting a warm golden hue across the glade, Lila sat on the soft grass beside the shimmering pool, Pip nestled comfortably in her lap. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers, and the sounds of chirping crickets and rustling leaves created a soothing symphony. Lila felt a profound sense of peace wash over her, a feeling she had longed for since her parents had passed away. "Can you believe how far we've come, Pip?" Lila said, gently stroking the little mouse's back. Just a few weeks ago, I was just a lonely girl in the city, and now look at us. We've made so many friends and found a magical treasure. Pip squeaked softly in agreement, his tiny eyes sparkling with affection. The glade had transformed into a sanctuary, a place where children from the neighborhood gathered to learn about nature and the importance of protecting it. Lila had become a leader among her peers, inspiring them to care for the forest and its inhabitants. They organized regular cleanup days, planted new trees, and even created signs to educate visitors about the wildlife that called the forest home. Lila's bond with the bear deepened as well. It had become a guardian of the glade, often appearing when the children were present, watching over them with a protective gaze. Lila felt a sense of gratitude for the bear, knowing that it had played a crucial role in her journey of self-discovery and bravery. One evening, as the children gathered around the pool for a storytelling session, Lila decided to share the tale of how she and Pip had found the magical stones. The children listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder as she recounted the adventure, the challenges they had faced, and the lessons they had learned about courage, friendship, and the importance of protecting nature. And remember, Lila concluded, her voice filled with passion, the stones are not just treasures. They represent our commitment to this forest and to each other. We must always be brave and stand up for what is right, just like Pip and I did. The children erupted into applause, their faces glowing with excitement. Lila felt a surge of pride as she looked around at her friends, knowing that they were all united in their mission to protect the forest. Pip squeaked happily, darting around Lila's feet, celebrating their success. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Lila felt a sense of fulfillment she had never known before. She had found her place in the world, surrounded by friends and the magic of the forest. The bond she shared with Pip and the other animals had transformed her life, teaching her the true meaning of bravery and companionship. But just as she was about to leave the glade, a sudden rustling in the bushes caught her attention. Lila turned to see the bear emerging from the trees, its massive form silhouetted against the fading light. The bear approached slowly, its dark eyes fixed on Lila, and she felt a rush of warmth and gratitude. Thank you for everything, Lila said softly, her heart swelling with emotion. You've shown me what it means to be brave and to protect those we love. The bear lowered its head, and Lila reached out to touch its fur, feeling a deep connection between them. In that moment, Lila understood that the forest was not just a place of magic, it was a living, breathing entity that thrived on the love and care of those who inhabited it. She had become a part of its story, and it had become a part of hers. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Lila made a promise to herself and to the forest. I will always protect this place and the friendships we've built, she vowed, her voice filled with determination. Together, we can ensure that the magic of the forest lives on for generations to come. With Pip by her side, Lila felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had discovered not only a hidden treasure but also the extraordinary bonds that connected them to each other and to the world around them. The adventure had changed her life, and she knew that the journey was far from over. As they walked back home, Lila glanced back at the glade, the shimmering pool reflecting the stars above. She felt a sense of wonder and hope, knowing that the magic of the forest would always be a part of her, guiding her on her path. And so, with a heart full of dreams and a spirit ignited by adventure, Lila and Pip stepped into the future, ready to embrace whatever extraordinary moments awaited them. Thanks for joining us on this journey with our furry champions. If you enjoyed this heartwarming story, don't forget to subscribe to Furry Champions. Hit that like button and share with friends to spread the love for our furry friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, celebrate the amazing bond between humans and animals. See you in the next video.